Hi everyone, my name is Khadija McNair. I'm going to speak about the UNC Wilson Archive Workshop on the 19th of October. So when we got there was another collection for us to look through and catalog, and that was the Carolina Seminars collection. The Carolina Seminars are, I believe, an annual lecture that's put on. So in the collection, there were various programs like advertising the events, correspondence between speakers and organizers for the events. There were logs of people who attended the events. So that was very interesting. The dates range from 1991 to 2005. It was 9 linear feet. And it covered various topics. So the seminars were really on a broad range of topics. So the most interesting part of the day was talking to the visual materials archivist, Patrick Cullum, and I really enjoyed that. We talked a lot about the Durham Herald collection, or the Herald Sun collection. So just all these pictures from the newspaper that were collected in our house at UNC. He talked about what it took to get that collection, and why it didn't go to other archives like Duke, and he talked a lot about his experience being at a Catholic university, and also having experience at the archive at Howard University. And one thing that was interesting to me is he talked about the difference in the description versus a Catholic university, and a HBCU like Howard, and how different collections are described based on who's writing them. And we talked a lot about arrangement and description and preservation of different film formats. We talked about the different levels of description, and how hard or difficult it is to describe photographs, and how to make things available to the public online, and without people having to come and literally look at each photo. So that was really interesting. He talked about the Hugh Morton, who was a photographer, and Don Sturkey in this one photograph of President John F. Kennedy in Greenville. And it was really interesting because they took the same photograph from two angles, and these two photographs could be described in the same way. President Kennedy and Greenville, but they're from two very different perspectives. So when you have photographs like that, how do you kind of separate them and describe them differently so the viewer can, or the person or the researcher can understand what you actually have. So that was really interesting. We had a really good lunch with Monica Figueroa, who is the music cataloging librarian, Doug Dissenhouse, who is the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Special Projects, and Tim Shearer, who is the Associate University Librarian for Digital Strategies and IT. So talking with them was really, really informative. They talked to us about diversity and the different things they're doing in the archive to make it more diverse, and in terms of race, age, every gender, all of those aspects. So it was a very detailed, interesting conversation. And then after we came back from lunch, we got to hear from Miss Rebecca Stubbs about her experience there. And that was really interesting to hear from a classmate about her thesis, and how she was inspired to do her thesis on the Gregg family, and just how she's applying her archival knowledge and her historical knowledge, what we learned in school, and bringing them together in her thesis, which is really interesting. And we also spoke with Ann Wells, and she is in the audio-visual archive, so videos and different things like that in various formats. And she talked to us a lot about how they like describe those things, which can be very hard. So she talked about the Southern Folklife collection, which has a lot of stuff. She said they have 6,600 sound recordings and 3,300 reels of film. So yeah, that was really interesting. And towards the end of the day, Patrick Cullum brought a bunch of pictures in various formats and old cameras and film and all these things for us to look at. And Ann Wells brought reels of film and things like that for us to see as well. And that was really interesting. I really enjoyed looking at the how film has changed over time and how people have captured memories over time. There was a picture, it was a big like panorama of black people. I forgot where he said the picture was taken, but they were burning a mortgage. So it had to be like over 100 people in this big picture, and in the foreground there's this piece of paper on fire. And it was really interesting to see that and just see like the different things that people felt were important to capture. So yeah, so thank you all for watching my video.